Physical disabilities. The good, the bad, and the normal. Interviewer was me, Kevin Knotts. I interviewed Michaela Morris and Felicity Price. You ever think about what it's like to be an able bodied person and grab your keys? Maybe even think about grabbing your wallet, but then standing up with both of these things in your hand? Some people have to plan their exact route to college. You ever plan your exact route to campus every day, knowing you have to take the exact route every day? Well, around 17% of America does.
Hi, my name is Michaela Morris. I have arthrogryposis multiplex congenita, or you can call it AMC for short. It is a non-progressive disability that I was born with. It affects my joints and my muscles, basically meaning that it makes everyday activities a little bit harder.
Sometimes we think as a lazy day, you know, I don't want to take the stairs. And so, as an able bodied person, again, we have the option to be lazy, and we have the option to take the elevator. Some people just quite don't have that option.
So for me, arthrogryposis affects me in both my arms and my legs. For other people, it could affect them in just their legs. It could affect them in just their arms. You could be wheelchair bound. You could be walking fully functionally. Personally, I walk with leg braces and my joints are stuck in certain positions sometimes, but that doesn't stop me from living my everyday life. Like I go to college, I have a job, I have a social life. The thing that I think is the most, I'd say, frustrating part about having a disability is everyday accessibility in places outside of my home. As someone who is affected personally, it's really easy for me to look at places and buildings and things like that as, oh, this isn't accessible enough for me. I have to figure out either a way around it or I have to go somewhere else. But if you aren't affected by it, or if you don't really know anyone who has one, it's very easy to overlook those things and see it as this is accessible enough or this will get the job done because you're just not actively thinking about it. I'd say one good example of this is I was with my mom and we were going to a gym, and the only ramp to get onto the curve to get to the gym was blocked off by big pallets. And while this was fine for the moment because I had my mom with me, if I had been alone, there was no way I'd be able to get up to the gym. So we had to politely go up to the owner of the store that the pallets belonged to and explain the situation and get it moved. As someone who has a disability, I understand that I can't get frustrated with these people because, like I said, not thinking about it actively is a really easy thing to do. I drive by myself with a vehicle that is fully modified, but if I go to a place where there is no available handicap ramp spot, I may have to go farther back and double park, which will be seen as rude and inconsiderate to other people who do not know my situation. Taking up a spot when you don't need it, though it doesn't seem like it's a huge deal, it can severely impact someone's day and the plan things that they were planning on doing because they have to do things a certain way that may not be second thought to you. Getting up in the morning for me takes probably 2 to 3 times longer than it would any other person because of the ways I have to go around it. Being a college student, myself personally, I luckily don't have to have any extra modifications because I only do online classes for this reason. So I don't have to stress about going in and for others who maybe don't have as much use of their hands as I do, it's takes a lot extra time to do your schoolwork and to take tests. So that's another reason why there are state programs all over that help you set yourself up for success in the future, in a career, and in college. And while I am thankful for those, they still aren't easy to access. And they can look at me at any time and say, hey, you aren't disabled enough for me, which is something that I feel strongly about, that no one should ever be not disabled enough because we all have our own struggles. But if you don't get this help, all the things that I may need to make my life a lot easier are very expensive and I am broke. So,
But
you
what is
know,
it like to have fun with a disability?
Hi, so my name's Felicity. I have arthrogryposis and it affects me in all four limbs. So I've been in a wheelchair since birth.
So, Felicity, what do you like to do for fun?
I like to travel a lot. I recently went to Vegas and a lot of people think it's kind of weird, like, how's the girl in a wheelchair going to go to Vegas and what is she going to do there? But there's honestly a lot of accommodating places and you just have to make the best out of it. And I can honestly do a lot more than what people think. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of cool shit.
So, what is a hobby of yours?
I'm really interested in arts and crafts. I do a lot of painting, but since my hands don't function as what the norm would be considered, I actually put a paintbrush in my mouth and I paint with my mouth. And a lot of people tell me I'm pretty good at it. So I guess that's a good way to make me feel like I kind of fit in.
So, how much accessibility do you think is in this world?
Honestly, that's a really tough question because there are a lot that you go that's very accessible. Like you can go to the grocery store and the doors will automatically open themselves, which is great because being in a wheelchair, like I can't reach forwards, pull the door open it, and also drive my wheelchair in at the same time. So places like that are really nice because it's pretty easy, but there's also a lot of the complicated areas where if you want to go to a certain museum, you can't do certain things because the museums are so old, they don't have elevators or they don't have ramps, and I can't bring a 350-pound wheelchair up steps to actually go and view everything. So sometimes it can definitely get a little frustrating because you can't do everything that you might want to do just because of accessibility reasonings. But at the end of the day, I feel like most places are pretty accessible and there's a lot of people in the world that see you struggling and are there to try to help you.
Is there anything else you would like to add, Felicity?
Honestly, I would say, I mean, a physical disability definitely doesn't make you not normal. You're just like any other person. You're just going to struggle. And during those struggles, you have to learn how to accommodate for yourself and cope with it on your own. And like everything that I do, honestly, like I don't know any different. So the way I do things, that's what's normal for me. And 10 or 15 minutes longer, but I can still find a way to get it done. No, I just honestly, I get questions all the time. And the only question that actually like irritates the living crap out of me is when people are like, can you have sex? That's definitely the weirdest question I get, and it's just so strange to me. I'm like, obviously, yes, just in my own way. I do things differently, so it might be different, but whatever. I still have all my joints, I still have all my muscles, I still have all my bones, I still have a brain. Like I'm a perfectly normal girl. I just can't walk. Everybody struggles. It's and like it doesn't mean that you have a bad life. You have to make the good out of the struggle.
It's hard to think about what it would be like to live in our professional life with a physical disability trying to travel around. It's even harder to think about what it would be like to travel in our own personal residence with a physical disability.